Hello, everyone. I'm Michele DeLuca, curator of Body, Mind, Spirit TV. I'm excited to share my guest with you today, my friend Linda Ellson, a certified Feng Shui practitioner, who's going to tell us a little bit about how to clear the energy in our houses today. Hi, Linda. I'm so glad you're here with me.
Thanks for having me, Michele. I actually brought top 10 tips to navigate the energy in our home under the new normal. We
Mm,
all know that there has been a lot going on in our homes over the past few months,
yeah.
and
Thing?
truly unprecedented for sure. And in my opinion, we could all use a little feng shui boost, whether we've already been acquainted with the topic or not. And as we're evolving and experiencing new rules out there in society, I feel that there are some new and enlightened rules, so to speak, or some guidance I could share to help us to navigate the new normal through our home, because the thought and theory in feng shui is that your whole life is mapped out throughout your physical space. So with that being said, as we're trying to navigate it out there, we do as within in our home, as without, to hopefully have that transition to be a little smoother, a little easier, a little bit more harmonious. But then again, too, we are still being encouraged
Right.
in certain spots around the country and around the world to still spend a little bit more time at home. So my tips are geared towards helping people to balance and to harmonize that energy in a new and enlightened way. And to me, ultimately, feng shui can become a lifestyle. So we can talk more about that, but this is some guidance in encouraging that.
Excellent. Let's get to it.
So my top 10 tips are actually top 10 feng shui tips for navigating the new normal. So as we continue to transition into this new norm, I think it is still ever so more important than ever that we work to continue to uplift the energy in our home to create balance and harmony. So my top number one tip is to open the blinds, open the draperies every day upon waking. So it gives you the opportunity to have the home awaken with you. So we're energizing when we open up the draperies, we open up the blinds, we say we're creating more yang life force energy to come in. So you think about the power of the sunlight, right? Look at you did a great job opening them up this morning, okay? Really terrific. But we know how good that feels, and it's a beautiful sunshiny day. So
Let the sunshine in.
absolutely.
That's perfect. What about number two?
Number two is actually taking some time each day to ground and to meditate. So building in some quiet time. The energy of the year of the rat requires it, right? There's been so much going on. So if we can just take some time to quiet ourselves, center ourselves, meditate, if you have a little bit of practice of that, it can just even be sitting quietly in a chair and taking a few deep breaths and closing your eyes. It doesn't have to be a big production, but very important to just take some time to find our center each day.
I get that. And before we move on to the other 8 tips, can you briefly talk about the year of the rat? Because it doesn't sound like a good thing, but in Feng Shui, it actually could be, right?
Well, it could be, but right, there's been a lot going on in the year of the rat. So there are a total of 12 zodiac animals when we look at the lunar cycle. And the rat is actually the very first animal in the zodiac. And the lore goes that thousands of years ago, when the Lord Buddha was transitioning into the next realm, he summoned all of the animals of the earth. And the rat was actually the very first animal that showed up. So the rat is very social, he's clever, he's cunning, but we're like, whoa, maybe that's a dirty rat this year, because we've never had... we've never quite experienced anything like this.
Never had a year like this.
But I'll tell you where I think there's silver lining. One of the key words is that the rat is very social. So even though we've been having to practice social distancing, we have found new ways to reach each other and to be social. Even talking across the waves like this, having a conversation, or all of the Zoom connections and family dinner parties and coworkers still being able to meet, kids in Google Classrooms, and still maintaining some form of socialization beyond learning. That has been very clever and very cunning. And the other thing is that one of the key words in the year of the rat is compassion. And I think that we realized how much that is needed, and really how far we should give ourselves a lot of credit that we have come on that topic, and that whole idea and that connection that we have felt over all these months, that really it wasn't just about me or you, it was something that impacted us all on a global level. And we knew how that felt on the inside. In turn, we needed compassion for ourselves, and in turn, compassion for others. So again, I believe there are silver linings in the year of the rat, for sure.
Thank you for helping us see that. Okay, so tip number 3.
Tip number 3, in my new normal, and this is what I want to share with you, something that I started doing was I've started doing 10 minutes of power cleaning every day. And that is before I begin my work day. I've been setting a little timer in my kitchen, and I'm in motion. Remember the yang of the draperies we were opening up?
Sure.
Yang in motion, quickly, picking up the little pile of laundry, stacking up the papers, doing a quick wipe down of the countertop. So it's visually, you're creating everything so it's just so, but it starts getting you in motion, because I think we can all reflect, and I mean, some of us have more active households than others with kids or dogs or you name it. But it helps to get you going when our homes kind of in the past couple of months became a little bit more still, a little bit more yin. So it's just a really quick way of energizing yourself. A lot of people think like, oh, going on a run, very obvious way of energizing, but we're talking about energizing in your home, plus creating a little bit more of that visual clarity, or it's like kind of like tucking in your shirt, right?
Yes,
and just
you feel
feeling
so
a little
much
bit more
better.
pulled together.
Standing up straight.
That's
Absolutely.
right. That's right.
And
I love the standing up straight.
I love the idea of the timer too, because you don't have to feel like you're cleaning all day. You go like 10 minutes. What's 10 minutes? I love that. Okay, so 4.
Number 4, open the windows. We are, late
breaks,
spring,
yes.
going into summer. A lot of us think about flipping on the AC, but it is really powerful to let the natural breeze and air come into our homes. Again, we all know the concept of it getting a little bit stale over winter, but think about it. Staleness, like we've taken in a lot of information, and we've all been internalizing and processing in different ways. So getting that natural breeze, we say Feng Shui means wind and water. So some of that natural Feng going through the home just allows the energy to be cleared. So very, very important. So I think we should all take breaks from our AC. And then of course, not all of us have AC. So you're already onto something, because you are always opening up those windows, probably on a beautiful day.
Connected to nature.
That's
Perfect.
right.
Okay, next, 5.
Vacuuming, right? One of the easiest ways to get a pick-me-up in the home is by vacuuming. So think about it, whether you realize this or not, when we're taking a lot of information in, we're getting our frustrations out, that energy, we'd say, it kind of dumps and just kind of falls on the floor. So we know the concept of vacuuming. We vacuum and it looks a little bit nicer. But also energetically, again, we're in motion, and it's a really quick way to just lift the energy up. So I'm a big fan of the vacuum cleaner. It can really go a long way.
Good, because I'll get mine out before you go. And
oh, you're going to put me to work.
Just kidding. Okay, so next, I think we're on.
Next is taking a break from electronics. A lot of us are still working from home, or we're doing staff meetings via Zoom, or the children are finishing up the school year, and we're constantly in front of our computers or on our devices. And we need to take some breaks, just kind of clear our head, but also we can feel a bit of an energetic drain from too many electronics. So I think it's very, very important to walk away. And is that every hour? Is it, it would probably vary per person, but I would say at the minimum every hour. So number 7 is for those of us who are working at home or still finishing off the school year. It's really important, the best we can, to have a separate area for our work study area versus the rest of the house. And of course, all of our homes vary in size, so it's not always possible to truly have it in a separate room. But at the very least, at the end of the business day, at the end of the school day, we want to tuck it away out of sight, so not that we're not constantly staring at the work, or we can't separate business from the school day. I mean,
put it away.
You put it away. Absolutely. It'll be
that.
It'll be good for you and everyone in the house. Like if you're working from home, everybody wants you eventually to end that work day, right? And kids, we don't want you to study too much,
no,
right?
God forbid, right? Excellent. Okay, so next.
So plants, plants are very powerful. Anytime we can
Yes.
bring the
Yes,
natural life force energy into a home, but there's very strategic placement for plants this year. Number one, plants in water, fresh cut flowers that we can clip from our gardens are really super in the west this year. Think about where the sun is setting.
Sure.
The west represents our children, our creativity, communications, having fun. And that balance of something growing in water is about flow and growth and vitality and freshness. So it's keeping that wonderful positive vibe for the kids or the little inner child that lives inside all of us. And I think a lot of us across the board, right, we want to be prosperous, we want to be abundance, and that's kind of been all over the map for a lot of people. So the secret tip for the year is that the prosperity sector is actually in the northwest part of our home. So think about the setting sun where we're putting the beautiful fresh cut flowers for the kids or the little inner child in our life. A little bit to the right of that is the northwest. We say northwest is helpful people, mentors, spirituality, and abundance and prosperity. So we want to put a potted plant. We want to ground the good finances that can grow, and that idea of the plant being symbolic of that growth. And you know what? We need a little fire element there too. So maybe putting it in a sassy red pot or something like that.
Okay,
that's right.
Element.
That's right.
Good. Okay.
Number 9, going back to kind of, getting away from those electronics, we do want to spend time outdoors. Being outdoors, Feng Shui is, about being in harmony and rhythm with nature. Being outdoors, being out with nature allows our rhythm to slow down and unwind, and very, very important. And also, it's very medicinal as we are kind of like defragging, detoxing, if you will, from, again, all of the electronic devices.
So go outside and play, please.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, this is kind of like goes into those threads of when we talked earlier about Feng Shui ultimately becoming a lifestyle. It's not just about the colors that you're painting walls or, where you're placing here and there. It's, it's practical things like, the vacuuming or opening up draperies or, again, taking it out in nature where it all originated.
Yeah, that's perfect. And if people want to know more about Feng Shui, you've been teaching online, you've been teaching Zoom classes, but you're also going back into clients' homes these days.
Oh, yes,
in
joyfully.
A safe way. Joyfully, I hear that.
Joyfully, yes, that. I'm back into people's homes, like here I am today. But also for those who are still comfortable with being at a little bit more of a distance, I'm still offering Zoom consultations, or really that's a global offering as well on Zoom and on Skype and Facebook Messenger. And yes, teaching through Zoom as well. So I'm trying to make it as accessible as possible. We have free videos that can be accessed on Facebook and soon to be on my website, fengshuiyourworld.com, which is a rich, rich resource for blogs and tips and any way that we can help and spark some joy and some interest. We're here for you.
Linda, thank you so much for sharing your top 10 energy clearing tips. People want to know more information about you and your practice, they can check out the website below. Thanks again, Linda.